I'm gonna show you exactly how you can build a magnetic personal brand as a real estate agent. Now, this video is not gonna be fancy edits, it's not gonna be a bunch of cuts, it's not gonna be a bunch of repeat and rinse. I'm just gonna sit down here, talk to you exactly step by step on what it takes to build a magnetic personal brand as a real estate agent. If you can't watch the full video, then you probably don't deserve to have a personal brand in the first place. Okay, so number one, when it comes to building your personal brand as a real estate agent, is building the emotional connection with the viewer. Right? This is the number one most important thing. And how you build an emotional connection with a viewer is by relating to them, finding something between you and them that is in common. If you were to go to a networking event and you were to reach out to somebody, or you wanted to connect with someone and get their contacts, you'd always try and look for something they're interested in and connect with them via that. For instance, I've always wanted to connect with multi-millionaires in Dubai. Right? When I moved here, this is really what I wanted to do. So I looked at what they care about. They cared about watches, they cared about cars, they cared about status. So what did I do? Number one is I started my podcast. It's not that active anymore because I've achieved what I wanted to achieve with it, but I started a podcast. Why did I start a podcast? Because when I saw that somebody had a lot of experience, the thing that I know every millionaire likes to do is speak about themselves. Every successful person likes to speak about themselves. So I started the podcast whenever I wanted to connect with anybody. When I saw them in real life, I'd be like, hey, I've got this podcast. It didn't matter how many views the podcast had. Like most of my podcasts got like 50 or 100 views. But I would say, I've got this podcast. I like to interview successful people. I would love to have you on. 99% of the time, they said yes. Now, some of the biggest people out there said yes. Like if I named them, you wouldn't even believe it. And I had no money back then, no business, nothing. The podcast wasn't even known. All right. So I still were able to connect with them. Another thing I did was I did my research on watches and cars. I didn't really have that crazy of a car. I bought a Ford Mustang at that point, and I had a Tissot PRX. But there was a reason why I got both of them, because even though they were not that expensive, but they were some of the entry watches and the entry cars that these millionaires had and these millionaires know about, so that we had something to connect with. Okay, so whenever you're making your personal brand, you need to find something that these high net worth individuals or your buyers, wherever they're from or whoever your target audience is, you need to find a way to connect with them. And usually it's through something that relates to them or interests them. Okay, so that is number one. So whenever you're making content, it has to relate to them, or at least 25% of the content need to relate to them directly. The next thing that you need to be achieving with your personal brand is very obvious. Everybody gets it. Everybody actually kind of does it, which is delivering value. Okay, whatever you're saying in your videos has to deliver some kind of value, whether it be monetary value, relatability, whether it be tips and tricks, tutorials, numbers and statistics, analytics, whatever it is, it needs to give some sort of value. Now, obviously, not every piece of content needs to be numbers and figures. Not every piece of content needs to be a new project that is too salesy, it's way too pushy. No, it needs just to be value. Whoever's watching the videos needs to understand, all right, this person knows what they're talking about. Again, back to the example of networking. Once I got those people in the door by relating to them, to the podcast, or through talking about watches or cars, the next thing I do is show them that I know what I'm talking about, right? Is tell them, oh yeah, well, I do X, Y, and Z. You know, when it comes to social media, you got to do X, Y, and Z. You got to do that and that. Whatever it is, I'm delivering value. I'm showcasing that I know what I am talking about. Right? So always with your content, the first thing you want to do is relate to them. Then after you relate to them, it's time for you to showcase that you know what you're talking about. So you give some value. All right. So now you've got like sort of a formula here. This is like a mini formula that if you just keep doing, one post is relatability, one post is value, relatability, value, relatability, value. If you just do that over and over again, I guarantee you eventually you will get a lead and somebody will buy from you. The third thing that I love to do, this is my favorite thing when it comes to personal branding, because the beauty of it is it works every single time, and it's controversy. Okay, so you relate, you add value, and you cause controversy. And here's what I mean. If I were selling property to UK investors here in Dubai, what I would do is I would relate to them. So I would find out, for example, these UK investors, they probably are afraid for their money because of inflation or whatever. So I would relate to them. I would talk, yeah, you know, I left my money in the bank in the UK. It was losing 3% due to inflation. And once I moved it here to Dubai, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there you go. I've just kind of related to them. Then I'll talk about what I know, right? Buying in Dubai, you just need 20% down payment when it comes to off plan plus 4% DLD, blah, 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 deliver value, okay? Afterwards, I would make a video causing controversy. I'd never raise my kids in the UK, and here's why, right? I'm gonna talk about a lot of things in that video, controversial stuff, but here's the beauty of it. It is planned controversy. Whatever the thing that most rich people or most successful people in the UK think, most likely the average Joe Schmo in the UK thinks the exact opposite. So if I were to say I'd never leave my money in a UK bank, the average Joe Schmo would hate on me. However, the rich successful person would agree with me. So I would make a video like that specifically to trigger, specifically to trigger the average Joe Schmo. Okay, just the average guy on the street, he will be completely triggered. He will comment something, but the rich man, well, or the successful person, he'll agree with me. All right. So planned controversy is extremely important. All right. So again, planned controversy, because you know why it works so well, especially with like high net worth individuals. It works so well because they feel like you are on their side. You just took a hit on their behalf. You're loyal. All right. So they've now just related to you. They understand you know what you're talking about. And then you know that you're on their side because, well, you took a hit for them from all those haters. Okay. So those are the kind of three things that you want to do. Now, there is one fourth one, and we're going to get into it right now. The last thing is probably the most important thing to build a magnetic personal brand. And it is the mentality. The mentality now has a couple of things. Number one, social media, as in Reels and TikToks, they are not meant to generate direct leads. As a matter of fact, a lot of the times they'll not, and they will be unpredictable. What a organic personal brand is supposed to do is it's supposed to convert your leads. And what I mean by convert your lead is you've got already a lead, whether it be through a referral, a network, your company, your paid ads, whatever it is. They will always, 99% of the time, eventually do their due diligence on you. So they're going to go ahead and search your name, okay? And if they see nothing, you're in trouble. However, if they search somebody else's name and they see their YouTube, they see their TikTok, they see their Instagram, they see their content, they see they know what they're talking about, they see that they're relating to people, who do you think he's going to go with? Somebody who's randomly gotten through a paid ad or through a company cold call, whatever, and ask them, hey, give me $1 million dirhams, let's go buy a property, or 2 million dirhams, let's go buy a property. Or is he going to trust the person who asked him for the 2 million dirhams, but also has a ton of stories, a ton of content to back what he's trying to do? Of course, he's going to go with the person with credibility. So this is the mindset when it comes to social media. When you're creating content, do not expect direct leads. Yes, they will come. Yes, it's fun. Yes, yay, it's great. They're very, very warm when they do come through social media. However, always go out there and push your social media to your clients, because that's where it's really, really gonna give you ROI. Okay? Another thing is, well, it does relate to that unconditional creation. Right. People realize if you're really trying to get views, or if you're really trying to cause controversy, like whenever we said the point of controversy, right? If you are too clear, like, I hate the UK, huh? People are just gonna be like, bro, you're trying to just get us to comment, skip, right? Or if you're like, oh, you know, this property, you should DM me. Bro, very clear you're trying to sell me, skip. It's unconditional. Make content for the sake of making content and giving value to people and relating to them and actually talking your opinions and picking a side, right? I just hit those 3 pillars with just one sentence right there. So mentality is extremely important. So combine mentality with the 3 things that we just spoke about. If you want the easiest content plan, create a relatable piece of content, create a controversial piece of content, create a valuable piece of content, and restart again. And then mix it around. Create a controversial, valuable, relatable, valuable, relatable, controversial, and mix around over and over again. And I promise you, if you do that for a long enough time, not 1 month, not 2 months, we're talking about do that for a year, come back to me and tell me that your numbers didn't double in sales, and then I'll tell you that, hey, you know what, I was wrong. But I know for a fact that if you put in the work and stay consistent, you will get results. Just this video alone is extremely valuable, and I promise you, if you implement it. But the funny thing is, I know 99% of you won't implement it, so that's why I'm just here sharing it, because I know that 99% of you won't, but for that 1%, implement it, and I'm 100% sure you'll find a huge difference on how your leads react with you, how your follow-ups are. Your paid ads will have a lower cost per lead because of your organic content. I promise you that. It's insane. Thank you guys for watching me rant for however long, and I hope it was valuable for you. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.